Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be diving into something that I think impacts pretty much every company out there.
Okay.
Um, and that's the relationship between business and implementation teams.
Yeah.
You know, that age-old tension between the dreamers and the doers.
Right.
And we're going to explore how this dynamic gets super interesting in the age of AI.
Yeah.
So let's set the scene here.
Okay.
Let's say you've just poured $2 million into building a shiny new customer portal, only to find it launching 40% over budget.
Oh.
Missing key features
Uh-huh.
and just not quite hitting the mark.
Yeah, I've seen that happen.
Yeah, and that disconnect. It can lead to missed opportunities, it can damage team credibility, and even erode customer trust.
Absolutely. Huge impact.
Ouch, right.
All right.
So where did we go wrong?
Yeah.
Was it the traditional waterfall method holding us back? Or can agile principles help bridge this gap? And even more importantly, can AI be the key to finally dissolving it?
That's a great question.
Let's find out.
Yeah, this divide, it's not new.
Okay.
It's been brewing for decades, especially with the rise of software development.
Right.
Think back to the dot-com boom.
Okay.
Waterfall was like the go-to project management method. It worked well for projects with clear, predictable requirements.
Right.
But as the digital world kind of sped up, Waterfall started to show its limitations.
I see. Yeah.
Product management, especially software development, needs flexibility. It needs responsiveness. And the rigid structure of Waterfall, it just couldn't keep up.
Yeah, it's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, right?
Exactly.
And that's where Agile comes in.
Yeah.
With its emphasis on iterative work, frequent delivery, and close collaboration, right?
Exactly.
It emerges as this potential solution to break down those silos and get business and implementation teams working together more effectively.
That's the idea.
So how does this all connect to AI? And why should we even care about this history?
This is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Because that same divide between the business and implementation teams can make or break AI adoption.
Oh, wow.
Think about it this way. AI can either magnify existing problems, leading to even bigger silos and miscommunications, or it can be the game changer that dissolves those barriers and creates a truly unified organization.
Okay.
It all comes down to how we approach it.
Okay, so how do we make sure AI is the hero in this story and not the villain?
Right. Well,
I'm getting a little bit nervous now.
one of the key agile principles, frequent delivery of working products and services, is absolutely crucial here.
Okay.
This allows for faster feedback loops, reduces risk, and it strengthens those all-important customer relationships.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So you can catch those problems early
Exactly.
before they snowball into something major, right?
Yeah.
But how do we balance that need for speed with ensuring that the AI system we're building is actually, high quality?
Are there any trade-offs we should be aware of?
It's a really, really important point.
Okay.
And frequent delivery shouldn't mean sacrificing quality.
Okay.
Instead, it's about building in quality checks at every stage of the process.
I see.
This means involving, testing and validation from the start,
Okay.
and not just as an afterthought.
Okay.
By integrating quality assurance throughout the development lifecycle, we can mitigate the risks associated with rapid iteration.
Okay.
It is a balancing act for sure, but one that is essential for successful AI integration.
So Agile and AI, they're like partners in a high-stakes dance.
Yes.
But with the potential for amazing results.
Exactly.
But even with the right approach, there are pitfalls to avoid.
Oh, absolutely.
What's one that we see frequently?
One we see frequently is what we call hero culture.
And this is when companies put all their faith in a few exceptional individuals.
Yeah.
The heroes who are expected to single-handedly solve every problem.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that play out in organizations.
For sure.
But isn't it a good thing to have those rock star performers on your team?
Right.
What's the downside here?
On the surface, it seems great.
Yeah.
But in reality, hero culture can be incredibly damaging.
Okay.
It creates bottlenecks because everything has to flow through those few individuals. It can foster a sense of helplessness among other team members.
Right.
And ultimately, those heroes burn out from carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And this can be particularly detrimental when implementing AI solutions, which require diverse perspectives and collaborative effort.
So it sounds like instead of focusing on individual heroes, we need to shift towards a more collaborative team-based approach. Especially with something as complex as AI, where you need everyone's expertise, right?
Absolutely.
So how do we avoid falling into that hero culture trap?
It's all about changing the mindset from individual achievement to collective success. So celebrating team wins, encouraging open knowledge sharing, and creating systems that distribute work evenly. We need everyone involved, contributing their expertise, not just relying on a few superstars.
Makes sense.
In one of the videos we'll link, the presenter talks about encouraging psychological safety within teams. This means creating an environment where people feel comfortable speaking up, sharing ideas, and even admitting mistakes without fear of judgment. This is so crucial for fostering collaboration and ultimately for successful AI adoption.
That makes a lot of sense. So we've got agile principles and this idea of psychological safety. But there's also this concept of waste in organizations, right?
Absolutely.
Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, so there are 3 types of waste that can plague organizations. Muda, Mura, and Muri.
Break those down for me.
So Muda is pure waste. Resources used without adding value. Mura is unevenness. Fluctuating workflows that create stress and inefficiencies. And Mura is overburden. Pushing people or systems beyond their limits. Which often ties back to that hero culture we discussed.
Right. Yeah, I see the connection. Okay, so help me visualize this a little bit. What are some real-world examples of these wastes in action?
So think of a team spending hours manually inputting data that could be easily automated.
So that's Muda.
That's Muda. Or imagine a marketing team constantly scrambling to meet last-minute deadlines. Because the content creation process is unpredictable and inconsistent. That's Mura. And then you have developers working late into the night to fix bugs because the workload is simply too much for them to handle. Often because they're the designated heroes. And that's Mirai.
Wow. I can see how those wastes could easily derail an AI project before it even gets off the ground. So where does AI fit into all of this? Can it help reduce these wastes, or could it even create new ones?
That's a great question. AI can be a powerful tool for identifying and eliminating waste. It can automate those repetitive tasks, analyze data to find inefficiencies, smooth out workflow inconsistencies, and even track capacity limits to prevent overburden. But, and this is important, AI can also create new forms of waste if not implemented thoughtfully.
So it's not just about throwing AI at the problem and hoping for the best. There's a real art to this, a need for careful planning and execution.
Absolutely. And to understand how we got here, we need to take a quick look back at the history of work methodologies, particularly the rise and fall of waterfall and the emergence of agile.
So earlier we touched on the .com era and the limitations of waterfall. Is there more to that story? Like how did we end up with these ingrained ways of working that may or may not be serving us anymore?
It's fascinating, actually. The way we approach work today is heavily influenced by historical events and interpretations, some of which were actually unintentional. For example, there's a famous misinterpretation of a 1970 paper that unintentionally led to decades of rigid, inflexible methodologies being adopted across industries.
Hold on, I have to hear this. What happened?
So the author was actually critiquing sequential development, what we now call waterfall, but his paper was misinterpreted as an endorsement of it.
Oh, wow.
And this had a ripple effect that shaped the way we work for years to come.
Oh, wow.
It's a prime example of how ideas can take on a life of their own.
That's incredible.
And what's even more interesting is that those command and control mindsets that were born out of that misinterpretation are still very much alive today. And they're one of the biggest obstacles to successful AI integration.
So a simple misunderstanding had this huge impact on how we approach work. Even decades later.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
It is.
But it also sounds like we're at a turning point here. We've talked about the problems, the history, the potential pitfalls. But let's shift gears now and talk about solutions.
Okay.
How do we get this right? How do we integrate AI successfully in a way that breaks down silos, promotes real collaboration, and creates a work environment that is ultimately more human-centered? I'm ready for some good news.
I think that's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And the good news is there are concrete steps organizations can take to move in the right direction.
Okay.
I think of it as a three-horizon approach.
Okay, I love a good roadmap.
Yeah.
Tell me more about these three horizons.
Okay.
What does this path to successful AI integration look like?
So the first horizon, the immediate term, focuses on laying the groundwork, developing comprehensive AI policies, aligning business and implementation teams on realistic goals and expectations, and conducting those cross-functional discovery workshops to get everyone on the same page.
That sounds promising, but implementing this roadmap in real-world setting must come with its own set of challenges, right?
Absolutely.
What are some common obstacles that organizations face when trying to lay this groundwork?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's not always a smooth process.
Okay.
One of the biggest obstacles is often resistance to change.
Right.
People get comfortable with existing ways of working, even if they're not efficient or effective.
Right.
And this can lead to pushback against new policies, workshops, or any attempts to shift team dynamics.
I see.
Another challenge is aligning goals and expectations across different teams.
Okay.
Business teams often have different priorities and metrics than implementation teams, and bridging that gap can be tricky.
Yeah, and do certain organizational cultures make it easier or harder to adapt?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Organizational culture plays a huge role.
Okay.
Companies with hierarchical structures and a strong emphasis on individual performance.
Yeah.
They often struggle to embrace the collaborative nature of agile principles and AI integration.
Okay.
It's much easier in environments where teamwork, transparency, and psychological safety are already valued and encouraged.
Right.
That being said, even organizations with deeply ingrained traditional structures can make progress.
Okay.
With the right leadership and a commitment to change.
Yeah.
It just might take a bit more time and effort.
Okay, so that makes sense. So assuming we can navigate those really hurdles and lay a solid foundation.
Right.
What comes next? What does the medium term look like?
All right, so in the medium term, we start to see more significant shifts. It's about redefining roles to merge business and implementation capabilities.
Okay.
This could involve training business analysts to work more closely with AI tools or giving developers a better understanding of customer needs.
So we're talking about creating hybrid roles.
Exactly.
People who are comfortable wearing multiple hats and bridging that traditional divide.
Yes.
What does that actually look like in practice?
It's about developing what we call a T-shaped skill set.
Okay, I've heard that term before, but can you break it down for me? What exactly does a T-shaped individual look like in the context of AI integration?
So think of it this way. The vertical bar of the T represents deep expertise in a particular area.
Okay.
Let's say software development.
Okay.
But the horizontal bar is just as important. It represents a broader understanding of other areas relevant to the work.
Okay.
Such as business strategy or customer experience.
So you're saying we need developers who not only write excellent code,
right,
but also understand how that code impacts the customer journey.
Exactly.
And business analysts who can grasp the technical capabilities of AI and contribute meaningfully to its development.
Precisely. It's about fostering that cross-pollination of knowledge and skills.
Okay.
Instead of siloed expertise,
Yeah.
you have individuals who can collaborate effectively across disciplines,
Right.
understand each other's perspectives, and contribute to a more holistic solution.
Good.
In one of the videos we'll link, the speaker shows how this kind of cross-functional collaboration was crucial for building a successful AI-powered customer service platform.
Yeah, I could definitely see the value in that.
Yeah.
It's like building a team of super communicators.
Yeah.
But how do we get there? Like, how do we develop these T-shaped individuals within our organizations?
That's where a combination of training, mentoring, and hands-on experience comes in.
Okay.
We need to provide opportunities for people to step outside their comfort zones,
Wow.
experiment with new tools and technologies,
Yeah.
and collaborate on projects that require diverse skill sets.
Okay.
And the emergence of new AI tools specifically designed to facilitate co-creation. That's a huge game changer.
Okay, tell me more about these AI tools.
Right.
What are they, and how can they help bridge the gap between business and implementation teams?
So we're seeing a surge in AI-powered platforms that allow people with different skill sets to work together on the same problem, using a common language and a shared understanding.
Okay.
These tools can visualize data, they can translate technical jargon into plain English, and they can even generate code based on business requirements.
Wow.
This means a business analyst can directly contribute to the development process.
Yeah.
Without needing to learn complex coding languages.
Okay.
And developers gain a clearer understanding of the business goals driving the work,
Right.
leading to more effective solutions.
That sounds incredible. It's like having a universal translator for AI projects.
It is. It is.
But even with these amazing tools, we still need that human element, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That ability to communicate effectively.
Yeah.
Give and receive feedback.
Right.
And constantly iterate and improve.
Yes.
How do we create a culture where this kind of feedback is welcomed and acted upon, especially when dealing with something as complex as AI?
You're absolutely right. Technology can only take us so far.
Yeah.
It's about shifting the mindset from feedback as evaluation.
Okay. Yeah.
Feedback as learning.
Right.
Creating an environment where people feel comfortable giving and receiving constructive feedback.
Yeah.
Not just from their managers, but from peers and colleagues.
Oh.
And most importantly, acting on that feedback to continuously learn and improve.
Right.
In one of the videos we'll link, the speaker discusses how frequent feedback loops were essential for catching and correcting biases in an AI-powered hiring algorithm.
Oh, wow.
It's a powerful example of how open communication and a willingness to iterate can prevent potentially disastrous consequences.
Wow, that's a great example.
Yeah.
It highlights how important it is to have those open lines of communication throughout the entire development process. So we've covered the immediate term, laying that crucial groundwork,
Right.
and the medium term,
Yeah.
which involves building those hybrid skill sets, integrating new tools, and fostering a feedback-rich culture.
Exactly.
What about the long-term vision, that fundamental shift in organizational mindset that you mentioned earlier?
Right.
How do we move from these tactical steps to a more transformative change?
This is where things get really exciting. Because we're talking about something much bigger than just changing processes or implementing new tools.
Right.
We're talking about a cultural transformation.
Okay.
A shift in values and beliefs that permeates the entire organization.
Wow.
It's about moving from a culture of siloed successes
Yeah.
to a culture of shared outcomes,
Right.
where the focus is on what's best for the organization as a whole, not just individual departments.
That sounds like a pretty radical departure from the way many organizations operate today.
It is a big shift.
How do we even begin to tackle something that big?
Right.
What does that shift in values and beliefs actually look like?
It starts with leadership.
Okay.
Leaders need to be the champions of this change.
Oh, yeah.
Walking the walk and embodying that collaborative, human-centered approach.
So it's not just about giving lip service to these ideas.
Right.
It's about actually modeling the behaviors you want to see in others.
Exactly. Actions speak louder than words. Leaders need to actively break down silos within their own teams.
Okay.
Encourage cross-functional collaboration and celebrate collective wins.
Okay.
It's about empowering teams to make decisions, own their work, and be accountable for the outcomes.
Okay.
And perhaps most importantly, it's about fostering a culture of trust and psychological safety.
Okay.
In one of the videos we'll link, the presenter shares specific strategies for creating this kind of environment,
Okay.
such as encouraging open dialogue, actively soliciting diverse perspectives, and acknowledging and learning from mistakes.
Yeah.
This creates a space where people feel comfortable taking risks, experimenting, and contributing their best work without fear of reprisal.
I can see how that would be crucial for successful AI integration.
Absolutely.
If people don't feel safe to experiment and potentially fail,
Right.
we're unlikely to see truly innovative solutions emerge.
But this kind of cultural shift, it requires buy-in, not just from leadership, right, but from every level of the organization, right? Absolutely, you're absolutely right. How do we get everyone on board with this new way of working?
It requires a multifaceted approach.
Yeah.
In addition to strong leadership, we need to provide clear communication about why these changes are necessary, how they will benefit the organization, and what role each individual plays in this transformation. Training and development programs can equip employees with the skills and knowledge they need to thrive in this new environment.
Right.
And of course, we need to celebrate and reward collaborative behaviors and successes, reinforcing the values we want to see embedded in the culture. One of the speakers in the videos we'll link discusses the importance of creating a shared narrative, a story that everyone in the organization can connect with and understand.
This narrative should articulate the vision for the future, the challenges and opportunities that AI presents, and the role that each individual plays in achieving success. When people feel like they are part of something bigger than themselves, they are more likely to embrace change and contribute their best effort.
That makes a lot of sense. So let's paint a picture of success here. In this long-term vision where we've achieved this cultural transformation. What does a truly collaborative AI-powered organization look like? What are the signs that we're on the right track?
In a successful organization, those traditional silos between business and implementation teams have dissolved. You see people from different departments working together seamlessly, sharing ideas and co-creating solutions. Cross-functional teams are the norm, not the exception. Decisions are made based on data and evidence, not on gut feeling or departmental politics. And most importantly, you see a palpable sense of shared purpose, a collective understanding that everyone is working towards the same goals.
It sounds like a truly synergistic environment.
It is.
Where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
Exactly.
But this transformation, it isn't just about efficiency and productivity, right? It's also about creating a more fulfilling and engaging work experience for everyone involved.
Absolutely. When people feel valued, respected, and empowered to contribute their best work, they are more engaged, more creative, and more productive. And this, in turn, leads to greater job satisfaction, lower turnover rates, and a more positive and innovative work environment. Finding that sweet spot where human ingenuity and artificial intelligence come together to create something truly remarkable. You know, it's not just about automating tasks, it's about amplifying human potential.
I love that. So for our listeners who are feeling inspired and maybe a little overwhelmed by all of this, what's the one key takeaway you want them to leave with today? What's the first step they can take on this journey toward a more collaborative AI-powered future?
I think the most important thing to remember is that there's no one-size-fits-all solution. You know, it's an ongoing process of experimentation, learning, and adaptation. Start by identifying the biggest pain points in your organization. You know, where are those silos causing the most friction? Which processes are ripe for automation or improvement? Once you have a clear understanding of the challenges, you can start exploring the agile values, principles, practices, processes, tools, and the AI solutions that best fit your specific needs and goals.
That's great advice. It's about being strategic and intentional, not just jumping on the latest AI bandwagon.
Exactly.
And it's about recognizing that this is a journey, not a destination, right?
Exactly. The world is changing faster than ever before. And the old ways of working, they simply aren't going to cut it anymore. We need to be adaptable. We need to be collaborative. And we need to embrace the power of AI to help us navigate this complex and ever-evolving landscape.
And remember, it's not just about technology. It's about people.
It is.
It's about creating a work environment where everyone feels valued, respected, and empowered to contribute their best work.
Couldn't agree more. It's about finding that balance between human ingenuity and artificial intelligence. Creating a workplace where everyone can thrive.
Well said. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure diving deep into this topic with you today.
Yeah, likewise.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with our listeners.
The pleasure was all mine. I always enjoy these conversations.
And to our listeners, thank you. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you found it informative and inspiring. And remember to check out the links to those full video presentations in the episode description.
Yes.
There's a wealth of information there that can help you on your journey towards building a more collaborative, AI-powered future.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep diving deep, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.